All right.
Uh, Good afternoon, Professor Agostini. I'm glad to see you online. It took us quite a bit of time to be able to get together and exchange ideas. So I want to discuss with you the grades that are coming up for the students after this switch over to online teaching and online learning. So what is your assessment of how students should be graded?
Well, Professor Gendre, that's a good question. It depends upon two things, actually. The first thing would have been, or would be, or is, how we were going to grade them initially at the beginning of the semester, especially now that everything has been changed and everything is sort of, I wouldn't say lopsided, but it's been turned upside down. In my case, I have some grades already from the beginning of the semester in both my classes. In addition, I had some assignments due from many of my students in my management class. The law class is a little bit different. I grade them to some extent on the cases I cover in class, and I've been able to cover the cases online through Blackboard. So I have a partial grade there. As far as the management class goes, they had to do presentations on Undercover Boss based upon the papers that they sent in to me. And I was able to quiz them through the Blackboard system that we have. So I can compute to some extent partial grades on both classes. Now, as far as the final grade goes, I gave my students an option based upon the first exam they had. What I did there was I said the first exam can count as 45% of the grade. Normally it would be only 30%, and the final would only be 30%. But the second exam, which was also supposed to be 30%, that's out. So I can either grade them as 45% for the first exam and 45% for the final, or if they want, or if they do much better on the final than the first exam, then I could grade them 30% on the first exam and 45% on the final. I'm sorry, yeah, 30% on the first exam and 60% on the final. And then the other 10% of the course would be on the classwork that was handed in, as well as the presentations that they've done over at Blackboard.
Okay, so you've had interactions with them individually, and at the end of that interaction, you know, and because they told you which exam they want to be graded 45% and which other one will count as less. And basically, it's on the basis of conversations you've had with each student that you decide which option they want. Is that correct?
Well, pretty much, although the way I worked it out was I'll use whichever is the higher grade as counting more
Okay.
than it was supposed to. So
Okay.
everybody agreed to that rather than have to go through them individually.
I see.
By,
I see. I see.
so rather than have to go through them individually at the end of the semester, what I'm going to do then is just pick the higher grade, whether it's the first exam or the final, and I'll count that as a higher grade, giving it more weight.
Very good. Yeah. And I think I can do the same. Although I do have three types of assignments. I have a first paper, a last paper, and then a bunch of assignments in between. And I can bundle I can yeah, I can bundle the assignments in the same way, and then give students the option of me counting as higher the first paper or the second paper. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Well, I think there's been a lot of dislocation. I think a lot of students are thrown off balance by what's happened. And I think that not knowing until pretty much the end of that spring break, which had been extended by a week, it just made it harder for us to determine what to do.
Right.
And it also seems that the college has been throwing a lot of emails at us, which I find rather distracting. So
I
I've sort
agree.
of gone independent. Yes, I've gone rather independent as far as that goes.
Yeah. I personally prefer to interact with students because they learn from those interactions, because I always bring in content and I want to teach content if they're willing to hear. But I think you're right. I think sort of giving them in general the option of counting the higher paper at a higher the better paper or the better
I
exam,
agree.
the better exam or the better paper
Yeah.
at a higher percentage is the way to go. So I think this is helpful. This has been helpful. Thank you very much, and we can continue online with this type of exchange and see how it goes.
Oh, that sounds good. That sounds good. Again, the students have been throwing
Oh yeah,
quite off balance as well as the faculty, and I think that being more flexible in the grading.
right,
After all, we're here not to grade them as such, but to get them to learn something, to
right.
teach
The
them
main
something.
purpose is for them to learn. Always, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you very much, Professor Agostini.
Anytime, Professor Gendre. Thank